All right, welcome to this week's episode of Play by Play. I am your host, Andy Horton, alongside my co-host, Jared Bergstrom. Well, Jared, this is episode number 127. We are still doing college football, NFL. I think we're going to talk a little bit of NBA today because there was a pretty big matchup in the association last night. So, I don't think we're going to talk too much. But
I was about to say that'd be all you. I haven't really watched a lot of NBA yet this year.
But the Cavs coming in to last night, 15-0. You know, the only other team to go longer than 15-0.
I'd want to say it's probably it's either the Bulls or it's the Warriors that went like 72 and 10 and 1 and 9.
I don't remember exactly what they went, but yes, it was the Warriors.
Okay.
The second one. You know the team that the Cavs tied last night. They didn't beat, but they tied they tied it going into.
Celtics.
No.
Oh.
It was the 90s Rockets. I think it was the 90s. Pretty sure. But regardless, heck of a streak for the Cavs. Just absolutely on fire. And I think going into last night's game, they were like number one in field goal percentage, number one in three-point percentage, number one in like a bunch of different like stats. And they did not get off to the best of starts last night. I mean, they were only down 6 after the first quarter, 26-20. But then the second quarter, the Celtics kind of hit them with an avalanche of threes because what else does Boston do? Scored 39, outscored them by 11 in the quarter, and so that means that they're up 17 at halftime. The Celtics were just stroking it from everywhere, and it was everybody as well. It's just, I just feel like I'm almost singing the same songs about the Celtics every time we talk about them. But Jason Tatum, he last season really struggled shooting the three. This year, it's a completely different story. He was 6 of 10 last night, 11 of 22 from the field, finished with 33 points. Al Horford got in on the act. He doesn't, he's not the most active guy every night anymore, but last night dropped 20 on 7 of 11 shooting, 4 of 5 from 3. Drew Holiday was 3 of 4 from 3, ended up having 11. Derek White, my favorite player. I'm so glad we re-signed him. I'm going to have to go buy his jersey. I might end up doing it before Christmas. I love me some Derek White. He was 4 of 7 from 3 and 7 of 12 overall with 19 points. And Jaylen Brown kind of had a quiet night, not the most efficient night, but 7 of 17, hit a couple of big shots down the stretch because as much as the Celtics had a huge lead early, the Cavs outscored Boston by 12 in the third quarter rather, to really make it a close game, like going down the wire. Ended up being a 3-point win for the Celtics, so finally knocked off the Cavs. And it was a fantastic game. I didn't get to see the whole thing, but this Cavs team with the evolution of Evan Mobley, it's a lot of fun to watch, and their bench unit really did work for them last night. Really a big reason why they were able to come back. They only played 8 guys last night, but their bench gave them 36 points. And a combined, that is 15 for 21 shooting. That's
efficient.
Yeah, that's almost
the Suns
75%.
Need that on their bench.
Yeah, between Georges Niang with 11, Ty Jerome, and Craig Porter Jr. I don't even know who Craig Porter Jr. is. But, a fantastic basketball game between maybe the 2 best teams in the East. I would love for it to end up being the 2 best teams in the East because I like watching the Cavs a lot. But that being said, there's a couple other teams that, if I'm Cleveland, I think would give them a run for their money. Maybe Orlando with Pablo. He is hurt right now, but Pablo in this early season, he's averaging like 30, 10, and like 6 or something like that.
Jeez.
I
knew it was insane, but not that.
He's been phenomenal. And then the Knicks, I feel like eventually they're going to get it together. But at the same time, losing Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle and only getting Cat in return, like really, I feel like that was too high of a price. I don't know if they're going to be able to if they're going to be that number 2, number 3 team in the East like they have been the last couple years. I think the Pacers will get their stuff together. Maybe the Bucks will, but who knows?
What's their record now? Last week they had 3 wins when we talked about
they're
this.
5-9.
Oh, they got another win.
Yeah.
Also, they went 2-1 in the past week.
Yeah.
Good for them.
They're on a 1-game winning streak. They beat the Raptors, the Pistons, the Hornets, they lost to the Hornets and they beat the Rockets.
Anything else you want? How's that West looking? Like I said, you're all in charge of basketball today.
Out West. So there's 4 teams already with double-digit wins. That's way higher than out East. I mean, I guess it's double. So, right? It's 200% more. But anyways, Golden State, the Thunder, the Lakers, and the Rockets are all doing pretty good. I hope the Rockets are able to hang on to this because they're a team that has been, in my opinion, a lot of fun to watch over the last couple years as they've developed a lot of these young players. Jalen Green scoring 20 points a game right now, and he's doing it. Okay, so he's not efficient right now. He's only shooting 40%, but I think I talked about him a lot last year. Alperen Sengun, he's one of my favorite players in the whole league to watch. He is almost like a mini Jokic, and I don't want to give him too much credit because it's not like he's a superstar, right? But he does everything from the big man spot. Right now, averaging 17 and a half, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists, as well as a steal and a block and a half. He's a guy that I think makes your team better in all facets if you got a guy like him. He's got good size, 6'11". So he's not quite Jokic. I love him, though. He's a great player. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch over the next few years. But then also, they still got Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks. I mean, they have, 2, 4, 6, 7? I think that's 7 guys averaging double figures. And draft pick Amon Thompson, right? He was drafted this year, right? Pretty sure.
I think he was last year. I think the Thompson twins were last year. No, they were. Never mind, that's right. They were this year, I believe.
Let me check. No, they were last year.
Okay.
You're right. But Amon Thompson coming out, and he's playing really well. I'd like to see that from the young guy. Scoring over 11 points a game, 6 rebounds, and doing it shooting 56% from the floor. So I think they got a bunch of dudes, and at some point, I feel like they're going to be loading up here sometime this season to go and get maybe a disgruntled star. Because I think they got the requisite pieces to be able to, you can give up, if you got all those dudes that the Rockets have, I think you can give up 2 or 3 of them and some draft picks to go and get someone who can change your franchise. Now, guys like that are available right now, not 100% sure, but I really like what they're doing there with the Rockets. I mean, you can't say enough about OKC, but, I want to mention the Lakers for a quick minute. They're not, changing the world, but I tell you what, I'm shocked. I'm surprised because I didn't think that J.J. Redick was going to be able to go in there and just transform this team. I mean, they're playing so much better than they did at hardly any point last year. My only thing about this Lakers team is if you're a Lakers fan, now I'm not, so I don't care, but if you're a Lakers fan, you don't want for them to win the NBA Cup because they won the NBA Cup last year, and then they hung the banner, which I don't understand that, for a midseason tournament. But I don't think Duke and all those places. I don't think they
don't hang the Maui championship.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
And that would be the only one I would
Maui
hang.
Invitational.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't do that. But anyways, after that they lost 10 of 13.
They missed the playoffs last year too, didn't they?
No.
Or did they play in the play-in?
They made the playoffs. Made it through the play-in, and remember they played the Nuggets and got swept in the first round.
Okay.
They almost won every single game or whatever, or maybe 3 out of 4. They were close to winning a bunch of them, but didn't win any of them. But LeBron dude, I tell you
I
what.
saw his stat line at half the other night. It was like 9 points, 9 assists, or 9 rebounds and 8 assists or something. It was insane.
Just pushing back Father Time, my man. I mean, the other night against the Spurs, did you end up seeing that stat line? 15, 16, and 12.
Dang. No, I didn't see that one.
The night before against the...
Maybe that was the one last night I saw.
Maybe the night before against the Memphis. 35, 14, and 12. And what in the world? 19, 16, and 10. LeBron is on a tear right now, and just telling Father Time, hey, I'm not ready yet. You're gonna take me when I'm ready, not when you're ready.
I wonder when that'll be. Is he gonna try to wait out for his other son?
If he wants to play significant minutes with his other son, I think he'd have a better chance. Because, I don't know. I think most people think that Bryce is going to be a lot better than Bronny.
Yeah. Bronny got sent down to the G League last week.
Yeah. And then Reeves and Rui. I mean, Reeves is always playing good, but Rui, he had a rough season last year. He's playing a lot better so far this year. Dalton Connect, that's a great ad in the draft. Really think that that's going to help them. The guy's a sharpshooter. And he's already proven that he's a sharpshooter. Where is the number? Shooting 46% from 3 so far this season. That's wild for a rookie. And he's taking 5 threes a game.
So that's efficient.
Yeah.
From 3. And he was like that at Tennessee, though, too.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's rare that a rookie comes in and immediately it's transferring and, it's paying dividends. You'd like to have a better backup center than Jackson Hayes, but, sometimes you just got to live with what you got. Maybe they can go and make a move at the deadline or whatever, but, yeah.
I think I saw him play a flying to the hoop.
I think I did, too.
God, I'm old.
He's skinny, dude.
Yes, he was.
He still is skinny. So then maybe looking ahead to tonight. Oh, real quick, before that. Did you hear that Tyrese Maxey was calling out Joel Embiid? He said that he was lazy and he's late to everything. It's like a players-only meeting after, because they've had a really rough start. They're 2-11.
Who is?
The Sixers.
Oh.
They're 2-11.
Who did he call out?
He called out Joel Embiid.
Oh,
He said he's lazy and he's late to everything.
I thought you said Jokic. I was like, wait, when did he go there? But no. That's. Are you calling out your star player? Hey, maybe that'll light a fire under.
But wait a minute. Yes, he is truly the best player on the team. But who's really the star player? Tyrese Maxey's there every night. He doesn't have injury issues. And he plays his butt off. Whereas Joel Embiid, I'm not saying he doesn't try hard when he's out there, but
he doesn't try hard at everything.
When
else.
is he out there?
Oh.
I mean, let me go back. I'm going to hit the numbers real quick. He misses so many games. So it's yes, he is your best player. He's already missed half the season. Excuse me. He's played in 3 games.
They're at what, 12?
14.
14.
Or 13. They're 2-11.
I was about to say, now I need to see, was he playing the 2 games that they won?
No, they're winless.
So they win without him.
Yes.
There you go.
They are 2-8 without him, and they're 0-3 with him. And I'm not trying to say that Joel isn't a good player, right? He's a great player, but
when he's
if you are, not on time, and if you're not setting an example as the best player on the team, then the rest of the team is going to be lax and not going to be on time to things, and they're not going to be disciplined. And Joel's not hustling, so why do I have to hustle? And that just it breeds
laziness.
Yeah, there you go. It breeds laziness, and you can't have that in the NBA. Not if you expect to be a good team. And with guys like Tyrese Maxey and Paul George and Jared McCann and Joel Embiid, there's a bunch of good players right there, okay? And you got to be better than what? Are they the worst team in the league? I'm about to pop it up.
Record-wise, or
Yes.
Probably.
They might be. They're the worst in the East, and they're the worst in the West.
who's the worst in the West?
The Jazz are 3-11. Well, okay. Yeah, the Jazz are 3-11. New Orleans is 4-11. And they're actually tied with Washington, my bad. Washington is also 2-11. Toronto is not far in front of them at 3-12. It's got to be better if you are Joel and
Who's the
Sixers.
coach of the 70s? Is it Nurse?
I was going to say, I think it's Nick Nurse. Pretty sure.
Maybe Maxon needs to start calling out Nick Nurse to make him be there on time.
But what can a guy like Nick Nurse actually do to Joel Embiid to make him be there on time?
True.
Joel Embiid is 7 foot tall and like 300 pounds.
And has an insane amount of money, so finding him won't do anything.
Right.
And what, you're going to cut his time? He doesn't play but half the games.
He's played in 3.
So less than half.
Played in less than 25% of the games this year.
Oh, I don't know.
So, yeah. It's a dumpster fire in Philly. Let's see. I'm looking to see if there's any good games tonight. Maybe we could pick a game or two, and then force you to watch them.
Hey, I watched some of that Alabama Mercer game last week.
So we're gonna pick the Knicks, Suns, and the Magic Clippers. They both play tonight, and they got very similar records. So it is 10 o'clock on ESPN.
I'll be in bed.
Yeah, just watch the highlights. Just pay some kind of attention. Yeah, Knicks, Suns. It's in Phoenix. So who you picking?
I'll go Knicks.
I think we might pick the same teams because I'm picking the Knicks too. Even though I'm not the biggest. You know what? It's at home. I'll go with KD.
All right, and the other one?
And the other one, Magic Clippers. That one is also out west. Starts a little later.
I'll go Magic.
I will also go with the Magic. I was going to pick against you again, but it's hard for me to pick James Harden.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think that's going to do it. Oh, you know what? I will pick one more game for us to pick.
Is this tomorrow night?
No, this is also tonight, and it's earlier. So, maybe you can find a way to tune in.
This one.
Pacers, Rockets, because I love watching those two teams. So
Pacers.
I'm going to go with the Rockets. So, all right. So
I guess Indiana would be my home
make
team.
sure to recap and come back and talk about those next week. So we can start getting into the NBA.
We have to. That and college basketball. Mm-hmm. And maybe maybe once we get into December, we can talk about college basketball because they'll be done with the tournaments and all that stuff by then. So, and there'll be more stats to look at instead of teams like North Carolina playing the Tennessee Valley Tech Titans or whatever. So we'll get more real numbers that we can look at.
Right.
All right. So does that mean we're going into college football?
I was going to say, I think so. I think that means college football.
All right. Anywhere you want to start in particular?
I thought you already had a place that we were going to start.
Oh, that's right. I did want to.
So we didn't have a chance to show the video and to talk about this last week. I think we talked about it a little bit.
I don't even know if we did. I know we talked about it either before or after the show, but I don't think we did actually during the show.
You might make me go back and watch the show to know. But so, if we did, if we didn't, I guess it doesn't matter. But I think a lot of football fans, college football fans specifically, over, I don't know, how long has it been?
Just a little bit, 2 years, I think.
Oh, is it just 2 years?
Just 2 years.
Okay. Well, so for the last couple of years, that I think college football fans across the nation have fallen in love with Kurt Herbstreit. I mean, I think everyone already loved Kurt, unless you're from the team up north. And then, him and his dog, Ben. A lot of people. I know some people that actually didn't know about Ben, but it's like, how did you miss that tail wagging every time they show either
anything?
Kirk and Oh, who's the college football guy that's with him? I forget his
Reese
name. Yeah,
Davis.
and Reese or
Al Michaels
or,
on
or with
Thursday
Al.
night.
Yeah, he's always there. You always see that.
Or
tail
on the game
wagging.
day set.
Or on the game day set, or you never seen him on Twitter or Instagram, because Ben had his own Instagram. So yeah, but was it cancer? Is that what he had?
Yeah.
Ben ended up getting cancer, and so a friend to us all ended up passing away, and they made a video about it last week. Understandably, Kirk could not talk about it on the set.
Watching game day last week was hard.
Rough.
Dogs are known as man's best friend, but what do you call a dog that becomes a nation's best friend? You call him Ben. I'll be honest with you, when I first started bringing Ben on the road, it was for me. I needed a travel companion. Hotel rooms can sometimes feel like islands of solitude, and his warm presence became my anchor to home, making my journeys feel less like wandering and more like belonging. When I was working in a hotel room, or a broadcast booth, or on the college game day set, reaching down and feeling that fur at my feet, it made me feel like I was home. Ben wasn't out here to become a social media star, but he became one, just by being himself. The Rose Bowl named him its Chief Happiness Officer, and that's exactly what he did. He made everyone happy, and he did it without even trying. He just wagged that tail or nestled up against strangers like they were family, and that's what they became. On planes, in hotel lobbies, on the beach, in the mountains, it didn't matter if you're a college student, a movie star, a national championship quarterback, or even a state governor. Ben didn't care who you were. Everyone deserved his love. I think we can all learn from that. At a time when everything seems to be aimed at dividing us, our love of football unites us every weekend. What I experienced with Ben was that, and so much more. Dogs' only flaw as a species is they don't live long enough, but the warmth they give us, that never goes away. So neither will Ben. This man's best friend, who became America's best friend.
Well, that was not easy. But rest in peace to Ben. And I don't know if you saw that sign there towards the end, Bevo and Ben for president. I'm with you. So, yeah, definitely sad. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. We'll miss you, buddy.
All right. So recapping last week.
Yeah. I do have one more thing to say. My uncle doesn't have social media, and he's not a dog person because he's allergic to them. And even he knew about Ben, and even he was sad.
Yeah.
Ben was a superstar.
Kirk did the Bengals-Ravens game the day it happened. So that, I couldn't do that.
No, doing a football game without his buddy?
All right, so let's recap week 12 of college football. We're just going to go in order from one down.
Sure, we can.
All right. I really thought Oregon was going to lose this one.
I never thought they were going to lose it, but I was getting nervous there towards the end. I was like, oh no, are they going to do enough? And then Gabriel, when he threw the interception, scared me. They were able to do enough to squeak their way out of there.
Get out of Camp Randall by a field goal. Ohio State beats Northwestern and Wrigley.
That game, I watched like a good part of it. That was one of the most boring football games I've ever seen. Oh my goodness! It literally put me to sleep.
I ended up muting the game and listening to it on the Ohio State radio because I like Paul Keenes better, because the commentators, all they kept talking about was that they're in Wrigley Field. It's like, I know we're at Wrigley Field, damn it. Let's get on to the game. Let's talk about something else than that we're in the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. But yeah, Ohio State, McCord, not as accurate as what he's been. 9 incompletions in the game. Will Howard. Shut up. Not as accurate as Howard has been, but still slinging it. And Judkins got going this week.
Yeah, no, he had a nice game. Only 75 yards, but two touchdown totes. And tell you what, man, Cardell Tate, that guy's a dude. That was a heck of a catch.
Oh yeah. I knew they were going to probably target him more because he's from Chicago, so a homecoming game for him. But
want to pop up that highlight real quick?
Let's see.
You should just be able to click on it, like literally the video.
Oh, was that the one?
Yeah. Laying out for it.
Hold on, let me turn the volume back up. I turned it down because of.
I'm assuming this has the replay. Because the original.
Yeah, this pissed me off too.
You gotta find a place to put cameras.
The director could have switched to any other camera too.
Lays out.
But yeah, I had to wait till they went to like the other replay to see if he actually caught it because I couldn't see anything.
And I'll tell you what, like the announcer just said, on 90% of college football teams, he's the number one. Cardell, we'll take you. I like our guys. I'll take you. You can come to Boise. I'm sure we have $300,000 to pay you. I get it. It's not that much in the grand scheme of things, but you'll have all the eyes on you. You'll be the number one guy. You'll have all the eyes on you. You'll have a 5-star quarterback next year. Come on. Or is he NFL eligible?
Who?
Cardell.
He's eligible, but I don't think he'll go.
Oh. Well, yeah. Come on. We'll take you. I guarantee 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, minimum.
Texas was in a little bit of battle with Arkansas until late. It was 10-0 at halftime, 13-7.
I tell you what.
In the fourth.
Before we got on the show, I showed you the SVP bad beats video, and he was screaming about Boise State being a bad beat. This was my bad beat. I was so mad.
We got another bad beat for you coming up to talk about too.
Yeah, I know. I don't even remember how much money I owe you. This is like what,
I think
$5?
it was just $5.
Okay, there you go. That's not too bad.
I had to go back because I forgot about it. It's like, oh wait, me and Andy bet on something, so I had to go back and watch the show to see what it was.
They did enough to win, but like, I don't know. Some people want to. I don't know how they didn't fall. Because Arkansas is good, right? But like. They're not great. They're not great. Like, and the reason why they're in a lot of these games is because they have talented dudes on offense, and Taylon Green is in himself a very talented dude. He's not an NFL quarterback, but he's a heck of an athlete, and he can sling it. So I just
was he the one that was Boise's quarterback last year? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I know so much about him. That's why I know so much about him. He's a really good guy. Really good player at least. Just, he doesn't have. He can't read.
He doesn't have all the pieces around him.
He's not a great. He's not like great at reading defenses and like making the best reads and the best throws. And that might be because he is so dang athletic that he has been able to get away with, not being the most cerebral quarterback throughout his career. I mean, I like him a ton, but I don't know. Your ceiling is only so high with him. I mean, they've beaten, I don't remember who they did, but they upset somebody earlier this year. Oh, it was Tennessee. And I wasn't shocked at all that they beat them. Because, they can put up points and be and play against good teams. They only lost by 4 to A&M, and then only lost to Texas. Now they got murdered by Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
But only lost by 10 to Texas. So most of these games, they're hanging around.
Penn State played Purdue, and that's all you got to say about that.
Yes. But the Longhorns, they're they're soft to me right now. I think that I need to see something before the SEC championship game. I don't think I can pick them.
They play A&M to end the year, so
we'll see. That'll be important.
Kansas, I'm on that Jayhawk train. 2 wins in a row. I picked them.
Bro, as soon as I saw it, I was like, what in the world is going on in Kansas? Well, I think what's going on is they have a good coach. They actually have a lot of talented dudes on offense. I just don't think they've really been able to stop anyone all year.
No, they've been giving up a lot of points. Let's see. Yeah, they lost Illinois. They lost.
Actually, it looks like they haven't given up the most points, but like they've been in a lot of one-possession games.
I was looking at that one-possession,
and losing them. Illinois 23-17 loss. UNLV 23-20 loss. West Virginia 32-28. That's a weird score. Loss.
11 there to TCU.
Yeah. The next week, 4-point loss to Arizona State, and then a 2-point loss to Kansas State. Yeah, that'd be 4 in a row, and they'd be 500. Like this is a team that has just made me scratch my head all year long because they were good last year, and I expected them to be good this year because they got talent. They got dudes between Jalen Daniels, who maybe that's a big part of the reason why he's got 13 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Hasn't been efficient enough so far this year. But then they also got Devin Neal averaging 6 yards a carry with 12 touchdowns, 900 yards. He's a very talented running back.
Yeah, BYU's slipping. Let's see, who do they play this week? Arizona State, and then they finish out with Houston. So
Arizona State, who did they beat 2 weeks ago?
You're going to make me look.
It was week 11. They beat
Kansas State.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
now, I mean,
things are getting interesting in the Big 12.
And it's tight there at the Big 12 too, conference standing wise, and we'll get into that as we get to the end of college football. Georgia just trounced Tennessee.
I don't know about that. They were down 10-0
into the first.
Yeah, and I mean they did end up tying it up by halftime. I don't know if trouncing is the right word, but I definitely think that Kirby and the Dogs might have.
It just felt like it was
got their swagger back
half.
a little bit. Yeah.
Watching it, Tennessee was just they looked disappointed.
Yeah, but I think the Kirby and the Dogs might have gotten their swagger back a little bit. Definitely jumped up the rankings a little bit more.
They needed to because
they were the first team out. That was wild.
And I mean, if it started now, they would not be in the SEC championship game. If it was this week, but I mean, thank God they play UMass this week for a game to really exercise some demons and maybe try to climb up the rankings more. Notre Dame played Virginia. That's it.
Only won by 21. You want to talk about a bad beat? How about that one? You know what the spread was, at least on DraftKings? It's 20.5.
Oh.
If you took the under, oh man, that would hurt. That would hurt.
But Leonard threw for 3 scores. So, I mean, he's been efficient all year. But it's just, I feel like and I never got a response from you when I sent you that thing about Notre Dame.
What was it?
Over the weekend about making them join a conference.
You can't. What do you mean? You can't make them.
Yeah.
I mean,
they made them for COVID.
Hey, if we're making them join a conference, make them join the Pac-12. Just give me the brand. Give me all that money. The collective bargaining in the Pac-12. I love that, boys. And then that's our 8 teams. And then if that happens, I'm just going to go off on a quick little tangent. Why wouldn't Cal and Stanford come back?
It's better than flying across the country to get you.
Yeah, man. You'd only have to fly to Indy.
Evansville.
Yeah.
Or wherever Notre Dame is. Is it Evansville?
No, it's South Bend.
South Bend. I don't know why I said Evansville. Oh, yeah. Evansville's Indiana State.
Yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, then you'd only have to fly to South Bend, right? You get those 2 teams back, like I said. And then, hey, then you get, I'm just dreaming now. But then you can also go and pull Tulane, like I've been wanting to do. And Memphis, you got Boise State. And I think Notre Dame sucks, but it's a big name. So Boise State, Notre Dame, Memphis. For basketball, we got, all of those teams and Gonzaga. You know, like that'd be a heck of a conference, man. I'm with it. Notre Dame to the Pac-12.
So when Boise and Gonzaga both join the Pac-12, are we going to go out to Boise and then out to Gonzaga for basketball?
Fine with me.
It's been a dream of mine to go out to the kennel.
Hey, let's go. You don't have to tell me twice. We can go to Taco Bell Arena.
Is that where you guys play?
That's what it used to be called, at least.
Oh. All right. We're on the bad beat train, so how about another one? Alabama and Mercer. 41.5 points.
That was frustrating. When you texted me the score, I was
I
like...
texted you the picture,
yeah,
too, so
I
you
was like,
believe it.
you've got to be... Lost by 45 points. I guess it wasn't like super, super close to being that bad, but that was frustrating. That was very frustrating.
All right, now Boise State.
This had me panicking. It's on the backside of one of them. Oh, unless you still have it.
I have it right here.
Yeah, if you want to go to the first one and maybe go up 10 seconds before that, because that shows the muffed kick return. So, I was about to cry myself to sleep on Saturday night.
Shut up.
Because Boise State tried to break my heart, and they ended up just putting it back together at the end. Started out, things were not going our way. Had to punt it after a 3-and-out. They scored touchdown on their first drive, a very efficient 8-play, 68-yard, if I can talk right. 3-minute drive, 7-0, San Jose State Spartans. And then turned it over on downs the next possession. That was not fun. They ended up going up 14-0. And do you have the
one at 4:05 in this video? I'll just play it from here. Not the calendar. I want the volume back.
Oh, yeah, and that's how we ended up turning it over on downs. It was 4th and 7. Pause it real quick. Turn it over on downs. It was 4th and 7. And we ended up doing a fake kick. What are we doing, boys? 4th and 7 from, I mean, it was a San Jose State 21, so I guess it would have been a field goal. But it's like down 20, or I guess at that point it was just 7-0.
Mm-hmm.
But man, can we get a lead before we start trying to do weird stuff? At least to have the game be tied. So it isn't this one, but it's the next play that they show.
Oh, throwing it to the lineman.
With a chance to get on 4th and 3, we want to pause it real quick. A chance to go up 21-0, and so that was one of the weirdest sequences I've ever experienced watching a football game, because they initially kept the offense out there, and then they took a timeout. Then they sent the kicking unit out. They took another timeout. I didn't even know you could take back-to-back timeouts.
You're not supposed to.
Something, I don't know how it happened, but maybe we took one too. I don't know. It was a really weird situation.
No, you got all three right there in the.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you're not. You can't take back-to-back timeouts.
Well, the refs let them.
Oh well.
They took back-to-back timeouts.
Those must have been to Kansas City.
And so that time they ended up taking the offense off the field.
Mm-hmm.
Or excuse me, they took the kicking team.
Kept the offense out there. Then you said they brought the kicking team out.
Yes, okay. And then they kept the kicking team out after the second timeout. And with like 15 seconds on the play clock, the entire kicking team ran off the field and the offense ran back out. And that was the play that they ran. And even if the guy would have made it into the end zone, it was, he released early. It was illegal man downfield. So he never reported.
No, that'd be illegal touching too.
Yeah, that was a double whammy.
Let me find this.
Would have been a triple whammy.
Is that 8:59?
Yes.
Okay.
And so then they ended up tying it up before halftime. Their quarterback threw a pick. It wasn't a bad throw. He just didn't throw it far enough or whatever. They ended up throwing a pick. We were able to tie it up going into halftime. And then in the second half, after each team had scored a touchdown, and San Jose State had got it into Boise State territory, and it was 4th and 2. Yes. I'm about to show it right here in a second. This was one of the biggest hits I've seen in a very long time.
There's a quarterback. Oh, good Lord.
Got hit so hard that the ball flew 5 yards. Jaden Virgin Morgan comes out of nowhere.
Do they have another replay of that?
Yes, I think it goes right back to back. Ends up scooping that one up.
He didn't scoop it. He landed in his arms.
I guess that's true. Yeah, it wasn't a skill.
I mean, you running backward, or you're running to the tackle him, and you get the ball.
I think they showed it twice.
Here, dang.
Put the helmet on the ball.
On the ball.
Through the offensive lineman's hands, and yeah, right to Jaden Virgin Morgan. That was a huge play. Ended up getting us the ball back. And then was that the... Yes, and then Ashton Genty was able to break loose on that very next possession. Had his biggest rushing touchdown in a while, 36 yards. And then after that, they got it back in Boise State territory, going for it on 4th down again. That's the next play.
Okay. This is 3rd down, but yeah.
Oh, my bad.
It might as well have been. Oh my God.
Just getting too slick, trying to outdo Boise State.
You're down 1 possession.
Trying to out Boise State. And, you know, I heard after the game that their coach just didn't think that field goals would be enough. And so you're trying to pull trick plays.
Ask Pittsburgh if field goals are enough.
Trying to do field goals. You mean the Steelers?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. But they're trying to do trick plays to try and find ways to get open and, you know, steal points. And they just outthought themselves a couple different times there with the throw to the tackle in the first half. And then right there, they were moving the ball so well all game long. Like literally all game long. And I don't know why they just decided that, no, we have to try trick plays. They had 483 offensive yards. And they had 21 points. Because when they got into position, they started trying to get cute. But I'll tell you what, they have 2 phenomenal wide receivers between between Justin Lockhart, he had 10 for 172 and a touchdown, and Nick Nash, 9 for 126 and a touchdown.
Jeez.
Bro, those dudes could be number 1s on a lot of Power 5 teams. Those guys are just out of this world good. Nick Nash, I think he has a triple crown in college right now. 95 catches, 1,282 yards, 14 touchdowns. And then Lockhart he's way behind him, but he's still having a good year. 48 catches for 925 yards and 4 touchdowns. So not having nearly the success in the end zone, but he's still got 1,000 yards with a couple games left in the season. So I was so scared watching that game, but we pulled it out, boys.
SMU beat Boston College by 10. A&M rolls past the other Aggie in college football by 35, 38-3 over New Mexico State. Your boy Thor has lost his hammer the last 2 weeks.
I know. Yeah. It makes me very sad because I thought that they were going to make it in the college football playoffs, but barring a miracle, they're just about out of it.
They're bowl eligible, so we'll get to see them play in a bowl game.
That's true. 2 interceptions. He ended up having 250, but it just wasn't efficient. 24 for 40, and he wasn't able to get things going on the ground either. Which, you know, it's one of the reasons why they are so good. Like if he's dual threat, and it makes him a lot harder to cover and to defend their entire offense. It just, I don't know, running out of steam here at the end of the season.
From 2 disappointing weeks to a disappointing season, Utah just loss after loss, and Colorado handed them another one.
That was shocking that it was that bad. I mean, I guess I shouldn't have been so shocked because they lost the. Is that called a civil war with them and BYU? I don't know. They have to have a nickname for that thing, right?
Who was it? BYU?
Yeah. BYU and Utah, because they're both in Utah, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But losing a rivalry game like that, so close, I guess I shouldn't have been so shocked that they came out and kind of laid an egg. And then aren't they on their like 5th string quarterback?
The Holy War.
The Holy War. Yeah, that's what it is.
That I don't know about that. What
I think
quarterback
I heard they're on their 5th string quarterback.
Who has 5 quarterbacks on college football?
Probably most college football teams. I mean, the college football teams have 200 players sometimes, and that's an exaggeration, but it's like over 100. Mm-hmm. So.
New Mexico State upsets Washington State, 38-35.
I needed Washington State. I mean, I didn't really need them, but I wanted Washington State to win that game. They're one of the other ranked teams that Boise State played, and that helps build the resume. I don't need you guys taking losses.
So we talked about how bad Stanford is, and then they come out and beat Louisville.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Of course it happens like that.
Clemson had to come back.
300 passing yards, 3 touchdowns for the Stanford quarterback. Yeah, Clemson. Shoo.
Yeah. Dabo and them are about to be out of the playoff conversation, too, if they didn't win that one.
Yeah, who is in the lead over there?
SMU is, and then I think Miami is second, and Clemson is right behind them. And without, it's SMU's undefeated. Clemson is 7-1, and Miami is 5-1. So Clemson would be in, and Miami would be out. So if you're a Miami fan, you got to root for South Carolina in 2 weeks, because the Citadel is not going to upset Clemson this week. That would take a holy miracle for the Citadel. I mean, they would need. They would have to have the power of Christ.
I suppose we might have seen crazier things. Maybe.
I don't know. That would be. Hell would have frozen over.
It's gonna get cold tomorrow, Jared.
Just in Ohio, not in South Carolina, or wherever they. Oh, South Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a town in Michigan called Hell.
That is true. And it always freezes.
They freeze a lot.
South Carolina beats Missouri 34-30.
I've been discounting them all year long.
You have.
And I will continue to do so. I don't care that they're 7-3.
Trying to look at who they play this week. I have it wrote down. Did I not write it down? That's another game I was gonna. We'll talk about it when we get there. Florida. I called it.
I tell you what, man. Billy Napier might have just saved his job.
They announced it 2 weeks ago that he's coming back next year. So yeah, he could have lost out.
They still could have fired. They could have gone back on their word.
Yeah, no.
But hey, what's the quarterback's name?
I don't know.
DJ Lagway. He's a talented dude. He only completed 500% of his passes. He's probably
500%.
Yeah, 50%. My bad. 50%, 500.
500%. I think he'd be in New York for the Heisman.
He only completed 50% of his passes, and I feel like he's kind of an Anthony Richardson like prototype.
He's, I think, their third string quarterback too.
DJ Lagway.
Unless their other quarterback came back, because I know their starting quarterback got hurt and missed, and somebody had to come in.
I think he was a starter.
Oh, then he must have come back then. All right.
I don't know. It's Florida.
Yeah, they ain't gonna do anything. They're 5-5.
So yeah, I think he's gonna be a lot like Anthony Richardson. He's very athletic.
No, he'd get tired and take himself out.
Very talented, but I don't know if he's actually got what it takes.
And then Navy, they started out 7-0 and
lost 3 in a row now?
Lost 3 in a row now. It's blanked by Tulane, 35-0.
Well, Tulane, they're doing everything they can to try and fight their way into the playoffs. Their fate is not in their hands. Their fate is in Boise State's opponent's hands in Boise State.
Well, they still got to beat Army.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, they don't play Army.
Oh, okay.
Well, they will play Army for the championship.
Assuming they...
Nah, they could lose to Memphis and still get in.
Oh, yeah?
That'd be only one loss for them. All right, now on to week 13. Starting off on Friday night. UNLV will take on San Jose State at San Jose State.
I think UNLV is probably going to win that one.
I'll take San Jose State.
See, my problem is, as much as I do like San Jose State's quarterback, he has 8 interceptions on the season, only 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Done for a lot of yards. It hasn't been super efficient.
All right, now we got on to the big noon kickoff, and I think game day is there as well. Ohio State and
Oh, that's
Indiana.
Friday night. I'm going to watch that probably.
Number 5, Indiana at Ohio State. Ohio State getting 13.5 at home. I'm picking the Buckeyes. I think this defense is, Indiana hasn't really seen a strong defense, and these are Jim's words. He said, if Michigan almost beat you, then you really are in for a hurting for the Buckeyes.
See, I don't necessarily agree with Jim when it comes to that. But that being said, I sadly am picking the Buckeyes. Yeah, I wish I could pick Indiana, you know. Google me, right? Freaking, I love Kurt Signetti, but I just haven't played anyone yet.
You might have broke the internet, Andy.
Why?
Because you picked Ohio State.
Oh, I wish I could break the internet by saying that. But, they haven't played anybody. FIU. Does anyone even know where that is?
Florida International.
Florida International? Okay. 31-7. Western Illinois.
That's in Illinois.
Hey. Wow. That's
I'm 2 for 2 on opponent
That's
location.
wild, Jared. I didn't know that you knew that. 77-3.
Ouch. All right, that's a FCS school then.
UCLA 41-13. Charlotte 52-14. Maryland 42-28. The team that just scored 7 points against Ohio State got to score 24 against them. 41-24 against Northwestern. Yeah, they blew the doors off of Nebraska, and that one was really shocking to me. 56-7.
We both picked Nebraska that game.
Yeah, Washington 31-7, 47-10, and 20-15. Michigan.
And see, they were trailing to Michigan State. That was the 42-10 or whatever you said. They
47.
were down 10-0, and then scored 47 unanswered.
That's wild. Yeah, I wish I could pick them, but I just haven't played enough good teams. But I'll tell you what, this game could have the Buckeyes in trouble if they don't win it. I think they still make the playoffs, but if you lose to an Indiana team that hasn't played anybody, how far does that drop you? Not out, but
right.
I guess maybe it depends on how it looks. Because the committee has done some crazy things so far.
And then, okay, now flip it. It would only be one loss to Indiana, but I mean, how far could that drop them?
Yeah, no, for sure, because they're not.
And I was talking with this.
If they lose by 17 to Ohio State, they drop 10 spots. I mean,
that would
minimum.
Put 15. Yeah.
I think minimum. I would actually, I don't know. This is just a number I'm pulling out of my head, but I feel like they would drop to 17.
That's more than 10.
If they lost by 17 to Ohio State, I feel like they'd drop 12 spots. It would be bad.
And that would put the committee in the thing. I mean, if Indiana's down there with one loss, but it's like their only loss was to a team that really the only good team they played. Do you take a 2-loss Ole Miss team over 1-loss Indiana? Do you take a 2-loss Georgia's in it now? But last week, if it was between Georgia and Indiana, I'd feel Georgia would get the nod with 2 losses over a 1-loss Indiana team.
Yeah.
Glad I'm not on the committee.
Yeah, I can't really argue with you.
Wake Forest at number 8, Miami. Miami is favored by 24, so yeah.
Yes.
Ole Miss at Florida. Ole Miss only favored by 10.5. I don't think Florida will upset 2 SEC teams back-to-back weeks.
Me neither.
Not with how hot.
I love how you said that like they're not an SEC team.
They are, but they haven't been at the top of the SEC since what?
I don't think they're beating 2 SEC teams back-to-back.
I said upsetting. SMU at Virginia. SMU getting 9.5 on the road.
I'm picking SMU, but I'm kind of scared that it's only 9.5.
I'm picking SMU too. If Virginia could have done anything offensively against Notre Dame last week, or anything that I watched to show some shred of light, I might have thought about picking Virginia, but no. Illinois at Rutgers. 1-point line. Illinois' favor.
I'm picking Illinois.
I'm picking Rutgers.
I have a thing. I do not pick Rutgers football.
All right, Andy, you want to go double or nothing this week with your bets? We'll leave.
Georgia and UMass.
Well, there's a couple we can pick from. We got Georgia or UMass at Georgia. Georgia favored by. I had to look this up because it wasn't on there a minute ago. Georgia minus 42. Or we can jump down here to South Carolina at Wofford, or Wofford at South Carolina. South Carolina minus 42.5 as well.
It's Wofford, right?
Wofford, same thing.
Well, and then there's also another one.
Where?
UTEP, Tennessee, 41.5.
See, I don't. We just need to put all three of those games together and pick the over on points scored and see how much that could get us. So I don't have to ask because I know who you're going to pick and all. Well, you're not on South Carolina's train.
Who are they playing?
The Terriers from Wofford.
Oh, yeah. They're beating Wofford.
Okay. That takes us down to Texas, Kentucky at Texas. Texas by 20.5.
I will go with Texas, but I don't think they're going to hit that 20.
Yeah, they haven't. I don't think they've covered in a couple weeks. Number 4, Penn State going to Minnesota. Penn State minus 12.5.
You said the over?
Yeah, what would the overs be?
Okay. I'm doing that right now. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. These are way worse on DraftKings than they are on ESPN. FanDuel than they are on ESPN.
Oh, geez.
UMass. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong number. It's UMass plus 42.5.
Okay, so they got an extra half. It was 42 when I looked on ESPN. Or maybe I looked on I had to look on FanDuel because ESPN hadn't had it yet.
I'm looking for the last game.
South Carolina?
Yeah. But what was the game?
Penn State at Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
12.5.
I'm gonna pick Penn State, but I don't trust them in this situation.
I'm gonna take the Golden Goat. I'm gonna take PJ Fleck.
You know, I wouldn't be mad about that because if they lose to them, they're out of the playoffs.
You'd think.
Or wait, do I want them in the playoffs? Because that means Boise could play them. I think we could beat them.
Well, we'll get to the rankings when we talk about it, but Boise's in the bye rounds now.
I know.
BYU at Arizona State. Arizona State getting 3 on the road, and I am going to ride with the Sun Devils. I about said the Wildcats because that's Arizona. Now I'm going to take the Sun Devils in this one.
Wait, where's South Carolina?
Is it that bad that they didn't put it on there?
Bro, I don't see it. Who are they playing?
Wofford.
Oh, there it is. So all three of them in the overs
Yeah.
is only $60.
On a $10 bet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's losing money.
What was the game again?
BYU, Arizona State. Arizona State getting 3 at home.
I'm gonna pick Arizona State. Let's have chaos in the Big 12.
All right, chaos in the Big 12, and it would be. Next, Colorado at Kansas.
Chaos in the Big 12, baby.
I'm riding the Jayhawks. I've picked them the last 2 weeks for upsets, and they've gotten them. I'm going to go 3 in a row.
I'm hopping on the train with you.
No, damn it. Stay off of it.
Nope.
Stay off of the train, Andy.
I want to pick
full.
Dion.
We're full.
I want to pick Dion this week.
Damn it.
They're going to lose.
All right. Oh, God, we didn't even talk about that one. We could have added the Citadel. Clemson, I got that one. Minus 49.5, Clemson is.
Oh, good Lord.
I don't think Clemson can score that many points. I mean, I know it's the Citadel, but I don't think so. So yeah, I know you're going to take Clemson. We both took South Carolina. Number 23, Mizzou at.
Clemson isn't on here either. It's that bad.
Ouch.
I have to go look for it.
At Mississippi State, Mizzou getting 7.5 on the road.
I'm going to pick Mizzou
Okay.
just because I don't think Mississippi State could beat the high school team.
Well, I think they've got 2 wins, but
Yeah, but none of them
That
are in
might
the
have been a high
SEC.
school team. Number 19, Army, and number 6, Notre Dame.
Eastern Kentucky and Massachusetts. High school teams.
UMass is getting a lot of money from the SEC this
Dude.
year.
So what was the game again?
Army and Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm picking Notre Dame. It'd be fun if Army could win, but
I can't run out of ink fast enough.
what?
I'm taking Army.
I just don't think it's happening.
Boise State and Wyoming, don't have to ask. Boise's favored by 23.
I'd love it if Ashton could go crazy this weekend.
He needs to if he wants to get back into breaking that record. I think I didn't look at it before
He's like 700 yards shy
of the record, or what Barry Sanders was at this point.
of the record.
All right, then
Because he's at 18 and change.
All right.
He's very close to he's like 7 yards away from 1,900 yards. So
Bama and Oklahoma. Oklahoma wants to go back to the Big 12.
yeah, they
It's a
do.
disappointing year.
I'm picking Bama.
Yeah. Texas A&M and Auburn.
A&M.
I'll go Auburn.
Really?
Only 2 points.
Okay, so real quick, let's run down the schedule. Wait, are we done with games?
We got Iowa State and Utah.
Iowa State.
Yeah. Utah has screwed me so many times this year.
The UMass.
Oh, cash collectors? That's what we're calling UMass this year. It's the cash collectors.
The UMass Minutemen Cash Collectors. It's actually not as bad as what you would have thought. They've just played all of those teams here at the end of the season. Eastern Michigan, Toledo, Buffalo, Coastal Connecticut,
Coastal Carolina would have got them more money.
Miami, Ohio, Northern Illinois, Missouri, Wagner, Mississippi State, and they play Georgia next week, this week, and then they play UConn. But they're,
UConn's a basketball school.
Yep.
All right, so that's going to move it from the college football, and we've got about half an hour for pro football. Anywhere you want to start particular with pro football?
Hang on, I gotta get back to last week.
I got to write down the matchups, so you'll do that.
Eagles Commanders.
Jaden Daniels screwed me in fantasy this weekend, bastard.
Oh man, I tell you what, he did not. Hey,
Yeah, and
at
you know who
some
my
point-
backup is on my bench?
Matt Stafford.
No, Jared Goff,
Oh, how many did he see?
like 30.
That's rough.
It is. I'm still 9-2 and won by like half a point over. I think I played your dad this week.
Was it? Oh,
think
yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. But Jay Daniels, he ended up throwing. Was it a pick or was it a pick six? I forget. He threw a pick in the fourth quarter
I know for sure it was an
as they were
interception.
driving. They were driving.
I don't
to
know if it
try
was
and
returned.
score. It was just an interception.
Because I think Saquon had like a big run for a touchdown right after that.
Yeah, 2-play, 46-yard touchdown. So yeah, as much as you love Jaden, every once in a while, like he's gonna have a rookie type of a game. That was one of those games. Like didn't play terrible, but he also didn't play great. And I don't even know if I knew that Brian Robinson played this week. He might have been on my bench. That's funny. Saquon Barkley, though, he's having himself a season, ain't
Yeah, Giants. What the hell's wrong with you?
he? He ended up paying Daniel Jones about $160 million too many and let this guy
They
walk.
wish it was just $160.
Oh, right, yeah. He's got 1,137 rushing yards, 8 rushing touchdowns, and 210 receiving yards. I'm surprised it's that low, but and two receiving touchdowns. And only fumbled once this season. He's been just you can't talk about how good Saquon's been, and really kind of the engine that's running that offense all season long. Because A.J. Brown, he did he did finally come
I was
back.
about to say, did he come back?
Yeah. He had 5 catches for 65 yards. But the offense, or the passing game, hasn't been doing, a ton this year. 2,100 passing yards for Jalen Hurts, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So it's not like he's been bad, but he hasn't been slinging it all over the yard.
His running stats, I think, are better than last year's at this point, though.
Probably, yeah. He's done a lot on the ground, that's for sure this year. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, their numbers aren't as good as what we've seen them a lot like in the past. Because didn't A.J. Brown, didn't he have like a stretch last year, like 10 games or whatever, where he had over 100 yards? He was eating last year. So not the same. But they're winning a lot more games. They're being more efficient. And I think this is the Eagles team that Eagles fans wanted to see. Packers-Bears. You have to go find the video and post it in there. Wasn't it a blocked field goal? Isn't that how they won, the Packers?
Was it blocked or was it just doinked?
I thought it was blocked.
I think it was blocked, yes.
I was going to say doinked would be like, what? There's no way.
They had the double doink in the playoffs against the Eagles.
I was going to say, frickin'. Well, in that one game, didn't Cody Parkey doink it 3 times?
Yes. He
Like 3
missed
different
another
kicks?
field goal.
Missed 3 kicks, doinking it?
No, 1 field goal was 2 doinks.
No, but I'm pretty sure he had a
Oh, did
game
he
where
miss
he
another
tripled,
throw?
where he missed
I wouldn't be
and it
surprised.
donked 3 times. Yeah. So don't have a ton to say about that. We're not going to talk about my favorite player in college or in the NFL this week.
I know, you had to defend him. You defended him last week, and I was surprised.
Yeah. So was I.
Not this week?
Nope, not this week. I can't do that 2 weeks in a row.
I think I didn't see what his final stats were, but I think this is like 6 weeks in a row he's completed under 50% passes and no touchdowns. It's either 5 or 6. I forget what. I was listening to Cynthia Freeland or whoever it is on Get Up this morning.
Well, she's wrong because
Is it
he
5
completed 75% of his passes.
this week.
Yes.
Then maybe it's last week I heard.
It was
the
3
stat.
in a row. He completed 41%, 53%. Or no, yeah, he was still over 50% in 2 of those games. But 41 or 41%, 53%. Still, it's not been as good, not been nearly as effective as what they want him to be. And in the last 2 games, he's been sacked 12 times. In the last 3 games, he's been sacked 15 times.
All right, so call him Sam Howell Jr.
And in the last 5 games, he's been sacked 21 times.
Good God.
He's getting beat up, dude.
All right, next. I'm still writing this week's games down. So who's next?
It is the Lions and the Jags. I don't know how much we got to talk about that. Amon-Ra St. Brown had himself a day, 11 catches for 161 and 2 touchdowns. Jared Goff, 412 yards, 4 touchdowns, only had 5 incompletions on the day.
But I don't have the pictures
University
of
of
the teams that
Minnesota's
they played this year.
Spankological protocol.
No
That's
matter the
just about
season.
8 months now. Well, Ned, how do you
I
feel?
hope they can do that all the way to the Super Bowl. Boy, wouldn't that make me a happy camper.
Yes. All right, next up is
Vikings, Titans.
Minnesota,
Dude.
8-2.
They just keep winning, and it's a lot of times it's not super pretty, but they just find a way to do it. I mean, that coach up there, what's his name, McConnell or O'Connell?
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's backup.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Hey, tell you what, kid can coach, that's for sure. They really struggled on the ground. 33 carries for 82 yards, only 2.5 yards a carry, but I mean, they just made it happen, man. It's been a while since Justin Jefferson gotten his way into the end zone. I think I'm going to bet on that this week because it has been over a month since he scored a touchdown.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dolphins, Raiders. Tua looked good.
Dude,
Thank God.
I tell you what, he needs like an extra oversized Guardians cap or something because he's awesome if he can just be on the field. He is a very, very good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tyreek Hill had himself a day, had 20 points. Not like, a Tyreek Hill game that we're used to seeing where he scores 1 billion points, but that was Jonnu Smith this past week. Had 6 catches for 101
he's not on your team anymore, so you don't care.
2 touchdowns. Yeah, no, he's still my guy. I love Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Frickin'. Did you see, maybe I can find the video and send it to you, but did you see the video of Jonnu Smith? He got 2 touchdowns this weekend, and it was probably the second one, but I don't really know. He scored, like got tackled or whatever, stood up and like threw the ball like as high as he could up in the air. It landed in his kid's lap.
Dang.
They were sitting like, I don't know, maybe 20 rows like off the, like from the front row or whatever, there in the end zone.
You couldn't get better tickets for your family?
And someone someone had the video when he threw it up, and it ended up going like in his kid's. It wasn't really in their lap, but like it landed at their feet.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was awesome. So I think that's what they call a core memory.
Matt Stafford throws for 4 touchdowns, and they needed all 4 to get past the Patriots.
Hey, Drake May's a gamer. He's a gamer. He gets his ass kicked week in and week out. He makes a lot of good plays, man, but he also makes the plays that breaks their back week to week. So I can't. Hopefully they're able to get this guy some offense, like some dudes to throw to.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a line.
That too. But when Kendrick Bourne and Hunter Henry are your 2 best wide receivers, you have a slight problem.
Yeah, a little bit.
I like those guys, but Kendrick Bourne is a slot receiver.
And Hunter Henry was a good tight end 5 years ago.
He's old.
Yeah.
Let's
see. The Saints quarterback, running back, tight end, whatever position you want to call him for, has 3 touchdowns and a dominating win over Cleveland.
7 carries for 138 yards and 3 touchdowns.
God.
That's averaging 20 yards a carry. I thought Ashton Genty was good. Good
Taysom
Lord.
Hill's good when he gets the ball.
Whew. My goodness.
You bench him and put him back there. Bench Derek Carr. At least there you got more options if the line collapses.
I suppose that's true.
All right, the Colts beat the Jets.
Anthony Richardson might have had the best game of his career.
That is his best game of his career.
66%?
NFL.
66% from the throwing the ball, and 272 yards and a touchdown.
Made him fire their GM yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's right. That did happen. Someone said that I heard one of my friends keeps saying every single week, Aaron Rodgers too old, Aaron Rodgers too old, Aaron Rodgers too old. This had nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers. He was 22 of 29, 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. What more was he supposed to do? I mean, I guess he could have been better, but at the same time, like, their best players on offense were productive, except for Garrett Wilson. He's had a rough season. If I was him, I'd try and find a way out of New York because it's not working out there for him.
No, not this year. Last year he was great. This year even before Devontae came in, he was being looked over. And I kind of felt like they haven't really used Breece Hall enough.
Well, it's because they have Braylon Allen, their backup running back from Wisconsin last year. Remember, I was talking about him going in the draft. Dude is huge, and he's like also 19 years old, and he's very talented. So they've been using him a lot this year too. And he's significantly cut into
his playing.
Yeah, Breece Hall's carries and playing time, because let me pull it up again real quick. But I think this is probably the least work that Braylon Allen got all year. And he's got, because he only had 2 touches this past week. He had against Pittsburgh, he only had 2 touches, but 7 rushes, 12 rushes. So he's getting the ball a fair amount. And if you're not, part of what makes running backs so good is the fact that and so useful is the fact that they get the ball a lot. 7 carries, 11 carries, 8 carries, 5 carries, 12 carries. I mean, he's taking a fair amount of work from him. He's averaging 4 yards a carry doing it too. And he's taken 10 catches too for 81 yards and a touchdown. So he's not as good as Breece Hall. He can do all of the things that Breece Hall can, just about. Just not nearly as good.
Pittsburgh beats Baltimore, stays atop the AFC North.
That wasn't the most Pittsburgh game out of Pittsburgh games I've ever seen. I said, we don't need offense. We're just going to get it to the 30-yard
You
line.
don't even have to score, get in the end zone.
Kick field goals.
Yep. Chris Boswell had a day.
You know, yeah, he did. I don't know what his fantasy numbers were, but they were high. That's for sure.
Let me look and see.
And speaking of fantasy, they almost tricked me into going out and getting another defense this week because they were projected to only score 2 points. I have the Steelers defense. They were projected to only score 2 points, and I was like, yeah, I feel like that might be a good idea. And I decided to stick with them. And I don't know how many they ended up scoring, but Baltimore turned it over at least twice. They turned it over 3 times. So that definitely helped me out a little bit. And just the fact that they were able to keep them so low in the yards, only had 331 yards of offense. That Steelers defense, they're just going to steal her, man. They just do the same things all the time, and they're very, very good, very successful. And that's even with T.J. Watt
24
having
points.
a bad year. I don't want to say that T.J. Watt's been terrible this year, because he hasn't. But for T.J. Watt, he's not
having a down year.
He's only got 7.5 sacks through, 12 games? Or is it 10 games? I don't know.
They had their bye already, so
10 games, yeah. So I wouldn't be shocked if he really turns it on here at the end of the season. But, everyone on that team is playing well and kind of picking up for him just having a regular season instead of, best defender in the league type season. The Falcons got spanked by the Broncos. Bo Nix, man.
Coming out party. Had to have it.
28
4 touchdowns.
28 for 33, 4 touchdowns, like I said, 307. And I think last week really gave him a massive confidence boost, right? Like, he didn't have the greatest game. He played well against the Chiefs last week, but he didn't have the greatest game in the world. They didn't have the greatest game in the world. And it took the Chiefs blocking a field goal at the end of the game in order for them to lose. I feel like Bo Nix is going to come out and be this dude the rest of the year.
Well, to stay in playoff line, yes, he has to be. And I'm not counting them out of the playoffs either.
No, me neither. Me neither, that's for sure.
Seahawks beat the Niners, and the entire AFC or NFC West, I think, is all at 5-5.
Talk about being bunched up.
You'll be fighting for a playoff. I mean, that division.
To the very last second of the season.
Right.
Everybody will. No, Arizona 6-4.
6. Okay.
But the other 3 are all 5-5. Who would have thought that Arizona at any point would have been leading this division, especially 10 weeks in? 11, technically.
Josh Gannon took away Kyler Murray's PS5 controller. It's like, you're not playing Call of Duty until the season's over. Bills, finally.
You
the
keep
Chiefs
saying
get
that,
a loss.
and I'm starting to think you might be right.
If anybody in Arizona watches this, or the reporters, let us know. The Chiefs finally lose.
Thank you, Buffalo. I knew this was going to happen. They always beat them in the regular season. They'll lose to them in the playoffs, but they beat them in the regular season, and hopefully the rest of the NFL can take a note or two. When you're up on the Chiefs in the fourth quarter, at no point do you get complacent and decide to sit on the ball. Because they could have done that in the fourth quarter, the last drive or two, and instead they said, no, we're going to make it a two-possession game again, and we're going to make things difficult on Patrick Mahomes. And when you do that, guess what? He threw another pick.
Well, that touchdown run by Allen on 4th down was
huge.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was over at my buddy's house watching it with him and his mom. I think he had decided it was over, and he turned the game off. He turned his PlayStation on or whatever. His mom was still out in the living room watching it, and I was watching it on my phone. And your phone is a little behind. Joanne starts screaming, "Yeah!" I was like, Thanks a lot, Joanne.
Just go out and watch it on the TV. Andy.
I didn't know she was still watching it.
Oh.
Yeah. But so then I saw it a moment later, and I was like, woohoo. Yeah, they finally lost. Yeah, dude. Hey, did you see, which wide receiver was it? It was either Curtis no. It was Amari Cooper. He only had 2 catches. But that 30-yarder down the sideline, one-handed,
Yeah.
defense holding his hand. I mean, that was awesome. Big-time play by him. And my man, Khalil Shakir.
I was about to say Curtis Samuel has not done a lot this year, but he had a couple big catches and a touchdown. I didn't realize he had a touchdown.
And Khalil Shakir, man, he was the one moving the chains for him without your number 1 tight end, your number 1 target, able to have.
Oh, I didn't even realize Kincaid was out.
Yeah, able to have your slot receiver be able to step up, 8 catches for 70 yards. It's not like he had, a record-breaking game or whatever. Every time they needed him, Khalil Shakir was there.
Move the chains on the Chiefs.
Yeah, he was there every time they needed him. They did a bad job running the ball. I mean, the Chiefs have a great defense and all, but I thought they did better rushing the ball. Only had 3.4 yards a carry. They had 3 touchdowns, and I think that the Chiefs will probably beat them in the playoffs. But this is not the. After seeing, this is not the recipe that you wanted if you're the Chiefs, because, like I said, it felt like maybe they finally understood. Don't sit on the ball, attack. As long as Patrick Mahomes is breathing, attack.
Hey, the Broncos did that last week. They sat on the ball, and got a field goal blocked.
Well, and the Chiefs, they won 15 games in a row, and 12 of them were 1-possession games. And it's because they're great situationally, but it's also because teams get complacent. They get up on them, and they don't want to make a mistake. And I get it. You don't want to make a mistake. But also that, you just made a mistake by being too conservative, and you're just going to let that great Chiefs defense get you off the field. And every time you give Patrick Mahomes the ball back, your percentage of winning the game goes down significantly.
Especially with how quickly they can score. Now, granted, it's not 13 seconds because they don't have Tyreek Hill, but it means Xavier Worthy can probably get there in 16.
Something. He'd be close. So gotta love that game. It was, the best game of the week, right?
I would say so, yeah. Because the Chiefs lost, that made it the best game of the week.
The Sunday night game was fantastic, too. It had me pulling my hair out, but...
Would you say you're surprised if Zach Taylor wasn't fired after that?
No. Wait. We're surprised that he...
Still has his job.
No, I'm not surprised at all. I hope that it can just be so bad down the stretch that they have to fire him. But Marvin Lewis never won a playoff game, was there for 20 years, and...
God, he was there that long?
It was close to. I mean, it wasn't actually 20, but hang on.
It was a long time. I know it was a long time, but God.
Yeah, I hope they fire him. It's just not good enough. This team, I've harped on this all year long, but 1-12 the first, 1-13 or something like that in the first 2 weeks of the season in his time there.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good enough, man. And when you're just digging yourself such a deep hole every single year, then you make it so you have zero margin for error down the stretch. And right now, it is still possible for the Bengals to make the playoffs. But they have to win all 6 games. They're only 2 games out. They have to win all 6 games to even have a prayer. It's just, this team is not prepared. And I don't know if you heard Jamar was someone asked him a question about the game, and he was like, look, man, I don't call plays. I just play football.
Yeah.
And I want for Jamar to just unleash on Zach, because Joe's not going to do it. No. And someone needs to do it. And if anyone on the team has a mouth that's a little bit of a loose cannon, and I don't say this in a bad way, right? Jamar makes how he feels known. And I like that. Because, if Jamar's happy, everybody knows. And if Jamar ain't happy, then everybody knows and we can fix the problem. I want him to unleash. Just go and say, this team, this coaching staff is not good enough. And, how much better could him or Joe Burrow be playing? I talked about Nick Nash in college having the Triple Crown right now. Well, guess what? I think Burrow and Chase also might have the Triple Crown.
Probably. Burrow does for sure.
First in passing touchdowns, and 53rd in interceptions. So I'm assuming that's probably the least, out of starters at least, guys that have played a lot of games. Oh yeah, and first in QBR. And Jamar, last time I checked, he was first in all of those categories. So I'm assuming he still is. 73 catches, first. 1,056 yards, first. 12 touchdowns, first. And then you also have the league's leading sacker. I mean, you legitimately could have offensive player of the MVP, the offensive player of the year, and the defensive player of the year, and you're 4-7. What in the world is going on? And I haven't even gotten to Evie McPheevy.
Oh, you're not going to call him Money Mac anymore?
I've never called him Money Mac.
Okay.
I've always made fun of him. I've never liked him. He made one kick to send the Bengals to the Super Bowl, and he's been living off of that his whole career. You know the last time he was league average?
He was league average? No.
Just have a guess.
This is what, only his... Was the Super Bowl year his rookie year?
It's either his rookie or his second year.
Probably, I'll say then. His rookie year or his second year?
He's never been league average.
Ouch.
You know, if he was, he would have had to be playing in 2011 because career he kicks 82%. In 2011, 82% was league average. He's 3% lower than league average right now. The average field goal kicker makes 85% of their kicks. And he specifically, I don't know, people want to act like he can kick long field goals. He
can't kick short ones.
35 for 24. Excuse me, 24 for 35. He's 60% on 50-yarders. So why, like, you know, Evan McPherson and Zach Taylor are both living off of the Super Bowl season.
Gone. Be gone.
I hope be gone, because he's never been good enough. And I wanted to like Zach early, and I kind of held out like a long time for him because it was like, you know, it takes time to really know if a coach is good or not. It's been long enough for me. He's not good with time management. He's a terrible play caller, and he's not aggressive.
I'm forecasting out the rest of the season. To look at the Bengals' odds to see what they'd have to do.
Win out, and then other teams would have to lose.
The Monday night game is. I don't really have anything to say about that.
I was going to say, I don't even remember who played on Monday night.
Dallas and Houston.
Oh, yeah, Dallas and Houston. But hey, I'm just not even going to say anything about that. But
Joe Mixon had more rushing touchdowns in AT&T Stadium this year than the Dallas Cowboys have.
That's crazy.
In AT&T Stadium this year.
That's wild. But I'm going to go back to Joe Burrow just for a quick second.
Okay.
He was amazing, man. I mean, the first half, he struggled. I mean, everything struggled for the Bengals in the first half. But in the second half, he looked like the best player ever in the second half. Just slipping out at me and Jeff and my uncle, a bunch of us were all out at B-Dubs watching that game. Jeff invited me. I didn't think about it, or I would have called you.
I was about to say, damn.
My bad. If I would have thought about it, I would have called you. But, yeah, man, he was making dudes miss, breaking sacks, running around. I mean, he took some big hits too, but he's just a tough dude, man.
Yeah, it is.
Can't talk enough about how great Joe Burrow is. I just hope and pray that we fire the coach and we're able to fix this thing soon, because, dude, I was crushed when Carson Palmer left. And if Joe Burrow leaves, it'll be even worse, because he's way better than Carson Palmer. He is so good. He is ridiculously good, dude. I mean, literally, I think he's the best player in the world. I think he's better than Patrick Mahomes right now. I think this Joe Burrow is better than any Patrick Mahomes we've ever seen. He is on another level.
So I have... Do I got the laptop? I don't really know how well people can see it. But right here, I have the Bengals winning out every game and that puts them at the 8th seed and missing the playoffs at 10 and 7. So it will have to take some. Let's see.
How many games do the Ravens have to lose?
All right, so let's see. The Ravens, we are here. So the Ravens play the Chargers this week. I think the Chargers will beat them.
Maybe.
For your sake, yes, you have to root for the Chargers.
Right. Well, no. For my sake, I want Zach Taylor to get fired. I want to lose out.
Oh, so you don't want to make the playoffs?
No, I don't want to make the playoffs.
Oh, then
no.
I don't even have to talk about this.
I mean, if we could make the playoffs, theoretically, we would probably play the Chiefs in the second round. And if that happens, we could beat them. Who knows, dude? But I just don't see them winning 6 in a row to make it to the playoffs. And then going on the road for 3 games to make it to the Super Bowl.
So,
and I don't want to make it if we're not going to win.
I had to switch the Eagles to beating them and Houston to beating them.
And also, the Chargers,
the Bengals to make it.
The Chargers gotcha. The Chargers, I mean, chargering is a verb.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's so funny because Jeff was being so obnoxious.
Good God, I've got the Chargers winning out.
Screaming, being so obnoxious. And then by the time they were kicking the field goal to win the game, or by the time, what's his name, ran that touchdown in, he was almost in tears. Like, we're the worst organization ever. We're going to win this game, but who cares? We just suck. And he kind of got what he deserved for being so obnoxious.
I've got the Chargers winning out, more than likely. Like I said, I think they'll beat Baltimore this week.
I was going to say, what's the rest of the schedule?
They beat, I think they'll beat Atlanta. I think they will get the Chiefs back in the second time. They should beat Tampa. I feel like they should beat the Broncos.
Wait, who won the first time?
Kansas City.
No, between them and the Broncos.
They did.
I think the Broncos will win.
So we
I think
take
the Broncos
that.
are good. Yeah.
That still keeps them in the playoffs at 13-4, and then they should beat the Patriots and Raiders to close out the season. So with that being said,
They would be 13-4.
Yeah.
Wow. And they'd be 13-4, and the 6th seed.
5.
Or the 5 seed.
5
okay.
seed. And then let's go and skip to the playoffs. What it would look like. Chargers, Texans, I'd take the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Colts beat the Steelers already this year.
I didn't ask Jeff about this yet, but I wonder how he would feel if Jim Harbaugh won him a Super Bowl.
And then you guys will play Buffalo first.
Ain't no way I'm picking Buffalo over Cincinnati if we get there. But
Right.
it's just not going to happen.
Right. And then over here you got, we didn't even talk about Lions. I have the Lions going 16-1, and I kind of feel like that's true. They'll beat the Colts. They should beat the Bears.
They're going to lose to the Bills.
It's Jared Goff in a dome, though. Jared Goff in a dome is
amazing.
Hands down significantly better than what he is.
I don't know, man. We'll have to see. It's going to be a fun rest of the year for the Lions.
And then we didn't talk about the new playoff bracket, but since Boise, I'll go bigger. Since Boise State is now a bye, we'll look at that real quick and talk about that. Do you have anything to say?
I would be very happy if this ended up being the situation. My only gripe is I just don't want to play Ohio State in our first game.
Second. Oh.
It's in our first game.
For your first game, yeah.
That's just not what I want.
So looking at there, let's just pick, I know, and this will change week in and week out. But right now I would go Alabama over Notre Dame.
Yep.
Ohio State over BYU.
Yep.
Ole Miss over Indiana.
Yeah, and I think that could be ugly.
And UGA over Penn State.
Yeah.
So then we've got Alabama and Oregon. We'll come back to that. We'll start on the right side.
I like it.
So we got Ole Miss and Texas. I think that could be a one-score game.
I want to pick Texas, but I need to see them play against another good team.
I'm riding on, and they don't play a good team the rest of the year.
Yeah. So
I'm
maybe
gonna ride with Jackson Dart in that one.
Maybe I won't actually know how I feel until the
it's
championship
official?
game, till the SEC title game.
But okay, so we both split that one. Georgia will beat Miami.
Yeah, I don't
Miami's defense is
I don't think Miami has a
non-existent.
chance. They could,
And that's even if
they could have
make
22 defenders on the field.
That's even if they make it, because really, it's between SMU and Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, now let's go to the left side. Alabama, Oregon. Oregon. I feel like it's got to be Oregon.
I think I would pick Alabama.
We're just disagreeing on every game so far in the second
I mean,
round.
I wish it would be. You know how much fun it would be for the semifinals to be Boise State and Oregon again? Oh, I'd be so giddy. That'd be a lot of fun.
So you're taking Ohio or Boise State or Ohio State, obviously.
It is in my blood. I cannot pick the Buckeyes specifically over Ohio State, even though I would not be shocked if they lost by multiple scores.
So that could set up, either way, that could set up a third rematch with Ohio State and Oregon, or a rematch with Ohio State or Oregon and Boise State.
Wouldn't that
And
be
I would
something?
take the winner of the bottom part of that bracket in that one. I would take Boise State over Oregon, or I would take Ohio State over Oregon.
Bro, I will be so drunk, I won't be able to go to work for a week if Boise State.
Do I gotta have Tony come in and do that show?
You might. I'll make a video.
We'll Skype
make
you
a
in and
video
you
and
just
I'll send it
laying
in.
under your pillow.
Yeah, because, oh my God, if Boise State somehow made it to the championship.
All right, so then on the other side you have Texas and Georgia. I have Ole Miss and Georgia. It is hard to not pick Ole Miss over Georgia again in my spot.
And I almost feel the opposite. It would be hard with how they played. Mm-hmm. I mean, Georgia kicked their asses. Like, with how bad that game was.
I feel like Texas would. I think Shark has something if it's a rematch.
I hope so, because I'm a Texas guy, you know? So it's hard for me to pick against them. But if I'm picking with my head, I would think I'd probably pick Georgia in that one.
So let's see. Then we have
Boise State and Georgia. Oh, good Lord.
I got Ole Miss, but
See, this sounds so weird, especially because it's Lane Kiffin. I almost feel like I might be more scared of Ole Miss than Georgia right now. It doesn't make sense, but they beat them so badly. Mm-hmm. You know? But they also, when he said, we spent all year doing this, you know, like trying to beat them.
so what does that mean?
Planning.
You only played for that one game?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. But okay, we still have to pick NFL games this week. Got to do
God,
that
we do.
quickly. Yeah.
All right. Steelers, Browns. I'm going Steelers.
Yes.
Vikings, Bears, Vikings.
Yes.
Lions, Colts. I'm picking the Lions because I think that dominating belt to ass continues.
Yes.
Hopefully not. Let's keep them under 50 this week. Let's keep them under 50, Shane. Patriots, Dolphins.
Fins.
Yep. Bucks, Giants. Giants going with Danny DeVito.
I didn't notice that the Bucks somehow slipped to 4-6. I'm gonna go with the Bucks, but
They
thought they
played
were better
San
than that.
Fran and
thought
lost
they-
on a blocked field goal that
they
game.
were a
should
little
be.
better than that.
Cowboys, Commanders.
Yep.
Chiefs, Panthers. I would love to pick the Panthers in a trap game, but I don't think
That
so.
would be so wild. That would be so wild.
Mm-hmm.
Had to hang on to Young for an extra season if that happens.
Ooh, I don't think they want to.
Titans, Texans.
Texans.
Yep.
Broncos, Raiders. Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
Niners, Packers.
I'm picking the Packers. This Niners team is not the Niners team of the past.
I think McCaffrey might get something going this week.
He needs to.
Cardinals, Seahawks. I'm taking Arizona.
I just want to throw a dart. I have no clue, but I think I'm going to pick Arizona as well.
Eagles, Rams.
Let's go with the Rams.
Yep. All right. And Ravens, Chargers. I already said I'm picking the Chargers.
The Chargers scare me, bro. They could so easily Charger this thing. They could Charger it so hard. I'm going to pick the Ravens. I don't want to, but that's what I see.
All right. That is going to do it for this week's episode of Play by Play. We'll be back next week. It'll be a shorter episode because we got to get out of here early because we close early for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So next week is the Thanksgiving side dish rankings. see. I have them done already. I wasn't prepared if we had either way to go.
Right, okay.
So we shall see next week how we think your teams compare.
And so that's going to do it for this week. Don't forget to like the show, share it on all the social media platforms. See you guys.